Hi to all. In the previous session, we have discussed about antacids. So, in the antacids, we have learned about the definition of antacids and what are the side effects and what are the causes, and finally, what are the effective measures to control the antacids and what are the medicines that are available to relieve the acidity, etc. Now, antacids, tranquilizers, barbiturates, analgesics, and antipyretics, antibiotics, antiseptics, disinfectants as well as anti-fertility drugs. So these are all come into the category which is called as a drugs. You may know the definition of the drug first. The drug is the chemical compound which is able to create the biological response. So by taking or by consuming orally or in the form of the nervally, etc. So this is the definition of the drug. So in the previous session we have completely discussed about the antacids first. In this session we are going to discuss about the transquilizers. Okay, this is the a slide which is named as transquilizer. So what is the definition of transquilizer first? Transquilizer is the class of the drug which is used for treatment of the stress or mild mental diseases. This is the definition of the tranquilizers. So when the person is suffering with stress as well as mild mental diseases and also anxiety, then we need to give the drug which is called as tranquilizer. So by the application of tranquilizer in its body, automatically the person will relieve from anxiety as well as stress, etc. So this is the main function of tranquilizer. Now the tranquilizers are having the number of advantages. So the main advantage of a tranquilizer is nothing but relieve the anxiety as well as relieve the discomfort. These are the main advantages of tranquilizers. Now, in addition to the number of advantages, tranquilizers are having the number of side effects as well as the number of disadvantages. The major disadvantage is nothing but so when the person is able to take the excess of tranquilizer, that person will be suffering with excess of drowsiness as well as addictive as well as headache and also fatigue. Okay, these are all the side effects of the tranquilizer. Now by the taking the tranquilizer, now there is the reaction between the nerve as well as the brain is completely decreased, then the person is completely suffered with mild mental diseases. Now number of chemical compounds are act as tranquilizers. Those are nothing but chlorodiazepoxide. This is the first one, and second one is meprobamate, and third one is the equanimate. These are the three classes of the drugs or act as tranquilizers. So out of the three classes of the drugs, first two classes of the drugs which are named as chlorodiazepoxide as well as meprobamate are most selling drugs in India. Okay, these are the chemical structures of tranquilizers. One is the chlorodiazepoxide and the next one is the meprobamate. If you observe the chlorodiazepoxide is having the halogen group which is nothing but the chlorine, and also which is having the amino group which is called as NH. So because of having the chlorine group as well as NH group, this drug is widely used as tranquilizer. And the second variety of the drug which is called as meprobamate. So meprobamate is also having the tranquilizer capacity. So by the application of tranquilizer, now the person will suffering with stress as well as sleepiness, etc. Now this is complete about the tranquilizers. In the next session we are going to discuss about the barbiturates.